Hello, readers. Welcome back to reading class. I am Miss Taylor. Alrighty. Are you ready to read? Let's see. Do you have your textbook? Do you have a bookmark or your finger? Do you have your workbook? Got my workbook over here. Here's my workbook. And a pencil. Alrighty. Some things to remember while we are reading. We're going to try to track with our finger or our eyes, but a really good idea to do your finger or use a bookmark to help you kind of follow along. I know when I'm following along in my teacher's guide, my teacher book, I have to keep my finger there. Otherwise, anytime I stop to make a comment or think or I get distracted, then I can go right back to where my finger is. We are going to work on reading each word carefully, paying attention to end marks. And our goals for today are to read with accuracy and expression, understand what's happening in the story, make connections to characters' feelings and actions. I was thinking about how at the end of last story, how old Henry protected Tim, kind of defended him against that fox. And I was making a connection to how I protect my kids sometimes if I feel that they're in an unsafe situation. I try to make sure that they're safe and protect them. So that was my connection to protecting. And I bet you have some connections to times that you've protected a friend or a little brother or sister, maybe a little cousin who, got too close to the street and you were like, oh, be careful, don't go in the street. So we look out for each other. All right, so we're going to make connections. We're going to enjoy the story. All right, reading is thinking. Lots of things happening in our brains. And again, I like to just draw your attention so we can appreciate all the things that are happening in our minds as we read. All right, this is what our reading lesson looks like. We have our word list, our nonfiction passage, we have our main story, and then we have some review items, workbook, and then we're going to read for 20 more minutes. So I just started a new book the other day, and I've been really enjoying reading that before I go to bed. So when you read for your 20 more minutes, it can be after reading class, before reading class, it can be right before you go to bed, really any time. All right, so here is our story for today, lesson number 7. We are going to learn a little information about Michigan and Kentucky. And then our fiction story is Old Henry Tests Tim. Ooh, I think he tried to test him a little bit in the last story, didn't he? When they were flying over the first landing spot. Remember, Henry was like, hey, Tim, do you see anything that looks interesting down below? And Tim was like, no. So I wonder if he's going to give him another kind of a test like that. Alrighty, so let's take a look at lesson number 7 in your textbook. It is page 25. So please have your textbook open and be following along with me. Here's my textbook. I've got it open. I'm following along. And even though it's on the screen here, it is really good for your eyes to be following. You could be like listening to Miss Taylor, but then following along in your textbook. So please try to do that. All right, so let's take a look at our word lists. Oh, some hair on me. Excuse me. I think Bob made a little visit, my cat Bob, in the last video, and she got hair on me. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at word list number 1. All right, all these words end with the letters ER. Word 1, what word? Word 2, what word? Word 3, what word? And word 4, what word? Nice job. Now let's try it the fast way. So I'll say it and then you say it. Older, river, sharper, fewer. Nice job. All right, column 2. So the words in line 1 are the name of a place. What place? Reedy Lake. Nice job. Word 2, what word? Kentucky. Nice job. Word 3, what word? Crooked. Word 4, what word? Word 5, what word? Triangle. All right, let's do the fast way. Reedy Lake. Kentucky. Crooked. Michigan. Triangle. Nice job. Alrighty, let's look at part B. So we are going to read the next story about Henry and Tim, but first we have an information passage. It gives some facts about 2 states in the United States. And before we start reading, I wonder if you can find Minnesota on the map here. Let's see if Miss Taylor can hold her book up. So we live right here. Here is the state of Minnesota. There's only about half of it showing there, but that is the state of Minnesota. Maybe I can move my little cursor around here so you can see right here. You see that on the screen, my little arrow is moving. This is Minnesota. And this is Lake Superior. So I mentioned last week that probably a lot of you have been right to this point here, where Lake Superior meets Minnesota, and then here's Wisconsin, and the city that's right there is Duluth. And then up here is Grand Marais, and then all kinds of, this is called the North Shore. And we Minnesotans like to visit the North Shore, don't we? There's lots of neat campsites and places to see up there. So here's Minnesota, here's Wisconsin, and then we're going to learn about today a state called Michigan. And I spent a little bit of time, I lived in Michigan for a few years when I was little. And Michigan, we would always say, looks like a glove. It looks like not a glove, it looks like a mitten. It looks like a snow mitten. So it's got the little thumb part, and then the part that your fingers go in a mitten. And then Michigan has a lower part, and then it has an upper part. So this part is called the Upper Peninsula, which is right there. And then this is the lower part of Michigan. But there's Michigan. And then down here is Kentucky. All right, so let's read about Michigan and Kentucky. The map shows the migration path the geese are following. The map also shows the first 3 landing places. So everybody touch the place where the trip began. So you should be touching right here. There's Big Trout Lake. That's where the trip began. And what's the name of the country in which the trip began? Canada, right? Up there, this kind of cream-colored area, this is Canada. And the name of the lake? Big Trout Lake. Very good. Follow the path from Big Trout Lake to the first landing place. So right there, see where that little dot is? That's the first landing place. What country is that landing place in? Canada. So they're still in Canada, right there. Follow the path to the next landing place. That landing place is in the United States. It is a state named Michigan. All right, so here's where they started. This is the first landing place is in Canada. Second landing place is in the state of Michigan. All right, follow the path from the landing place in Michigan to the next landing place. And there it is. So now we're still in the country of the United States, but now this is a new state. Let's see, that landing place is not in the state of Michigan. It is in the state of Kentucky. All right, so the first, where they started in Canada, here we go, this is Big Trout Lake. Their first landing place is in Canada. Then they went down here to Michigan. So now they're in the United States, in the state of Michigan. And then they'll be in the state of Kentucky, which is also in the United States. All right, so let's go ahead and look at part C. All right. And, let's see. There we go. Okay, see if that's going to work. It says part of the slide didn't load. Okay, looks like it works. Alrighty, so this is part C. Old Henry tests Tim. So let's see how he tests him. All right, Old Henry tests Tim. Old Henry's wing was very sore the next morning, but he didn't tell Tim about it. Before the geese took off, Old Henry tried to explain the next landing place to Tim. It was a field that had a stream running through it. The field was shaped like a triangle. It had a large grove of trees on the east side of the triangle. Old Henry even scratched a map in the dirt. It showed the landing place, the stream, and the trees. Remember, that's the place we're looking for this afternoon. I won't tell you when we're there. You'll have to tell me when we're there. Oh, so he's like, I'm not going to tell you when we're there. You'll have to tell me when we're there. All right, so let's look at the picture. You can touch the field that is shaped like a triangle. So in your book, you see the field shaped like a triangle. Touch the stream in the picture. The stream. All right, let's keep reading. Henry didn't know how well Tim would do, but Henry had to find out. Henry knew that Tim didn't learn if Henry just described the place, but Henry hoped that Tim would do better if he saw a map. So he's thinking, well, sometimes when I just tell Tim about it, when I just describe it, he doesn't really understand how to get there. But maybe if he sees it, if I draw a picture and make a map for him, you think he's going to do better this time? Because last time in our last story, Tim just kind of was like, hey, is there anything interesting down there? And he just kind of told him before what they were looking for. And he didn't really remember, but maybe this time you can give me a thumbs up. Like it's going to help Tim. Maybe still, nope, I still don't think he's going to be able to find the landing place. All right, let's find out. So the geese took off and flew south. About an hour before they came to the landing place, Old Henry tested Tim. Old Henry said, look down there and tell me if you see anything that is interesting. Tim looked down and then looked at Old Henry. Tim said, I think that's where we are supposed to land. Am I right? No, Old Henry said. That is not the place. Tim said, I'm sorry, I guess I'm not very smart. You're doing fine, Henry said. All right, so why did Tim think that it was the landing place? I remember the last story. He tested him before and he said the same thing. He's like, they're flying over the landing place and he's like, so do you notice anything interesting down there? And Tim was like, nope. Doo-doo-doo. And that was the landing place. And then this time he's testing him. He's kind of tricking him a little bit. He's like, what do you think? You see anything interesting down there? And then Tim's like, well, that's what he said last time when we were over the landing place. So yes, I think that's it. Am I right? No. Oh, not right. All right. But Tim was not doing fine. An hour later, the geese flew over the stream and the field shaped like a triangle. After they had flown past it, Old Henry said, our landing place is back there. Follow me. He knew that Tim would not be able to make the trip on his own. So later they were flying over and they got to the place with the triangle-shaped field and the stream, and Tim didn't say anything, so Tim didn't recognize it. So Henry's thinking, oh goodness, he's not going to be able to make the trip on his own. After the geese had landed, Henry said, what if we wanted to go back to our first landing place? Could you find the way back? Oh, sure, Tim said. That's easy. You just fly back that way until you come to some blue hills. Then you turn a little and go more north until you come to the place where the two rivers cross. Tim went on to tell all the important facts about how to get there. Hmm. So let's see. Could Tim learn things from the maps that Henry drew and the things that he told him about the landing places? Not really. But did he know how to get back to the first landing place? Yeah. So it sounds like Tim has to kind of go to a place before he really knows about it. He really has to go to that place and be there himself for him to be able to remember it. That makes sense. Sometimes that happens for me too. People tell me about things and I'm like, I think I know what you mean. But it's not until I actually do that thing or go there that I really understand what it's about. All right, let's keep reading. Old Henry spent a lot of time thinking that night, and he thought a lot the next day. The geese did not fly on that day or on the day after that. On the first day, they rested and talked. It was warmer here than it had been farther north. The geese were not in Canada anymore. They were in Michigan. The trees were yellow and orange, and the sun was warm. Ooh, look at that nice picture. All right. So, everybody, did they fly on the day after they landed at the triangle-shaped field? No. They just rested and talked, and sounds kind of relaxing. And let's see, was this landing place in Canada? Nope, it was in the United States. And which state was it in? Michigan. Nice job. So the story says Henry spent a lot of time thinking. What do you think he was thinking about? Hmm. Maybe he's thinking about how he's going to help Tim. All right, let's look at the picture. It's kind of a beautiful picture. I like all the colors. Does it look like a peaceful place to rest by the stream there? And how about the weather? Is it warmer or colder than it had been at Big Trout Lake? It's warmer, right? Which makes sense because they're going south. They started up in Canada, now they're going south to Michigan. It's just going to keep getting warmer. All right. Old Henry knew that Tim could not remember a place unless he went to that place. So somebody would have to lead him all the way to Florida. Henry's problem was that his wing felt worse than ever. Henry didn't know how much more of the trip he would be able to make. So his wing is really sore from kind of fighting with the fox a bit. All right, so when Henry left Big Trout Lake, how far did he plan to fly with Tim? Yeah, the first 3 landing places. So in Michigan, Henry changed his plans about helping Tim get to Florida. Henry knew that just showing Tim the first 3 landing places would not be enough. What would have to happen for Tim to get to Florida? Yeah, someone would have to go all the way with him. And Henry is thinking, well, if I went all the way with him, but I don't know if I can because his wing is still very sore, his wing. So if Tim can't use maps or descriptions or find landing places, what is Tim going to do if Henry can't fly with him? I don't know. All right, let's keep reading. Tim and Henry rested a second day. That day was the first time they saw another flock of geese. The flock formed a great V in the sky. Both Henry and Tim had eyes far sharper than human eyes, so they were able to see all the geese in that flock. Henry said, "There must be more than 60 geese in that flock." "Are they going to the same place we're going?" Tim asked. "No," Henry said. "They are heading a little bit to the west, so they're probably going to Mexico." All right, so Henry thinks they're going to Mexico because they were going a little bit to the west. And Henry and Tim are pretty much going kind of like straight down south. Actually, they were going a little bit to the east and to the south. Tim asked, "Have you ever been to Mexico?" Henry said, "No. The only place I've ever gone in the winter is to Crooked Lake in Florida. And that's what you'll do. Every year you'll fly to Crooked Lake. Then in the spring, you'll go back to Canada. So where had Henry gone every fall? To Crooked Lake in Florida. And where had he gone every spring? To Big Trout Lake, right? In Canada. So if he was 35 years old, how many times had he made this trip? 35 times. Huh. So that's interesting. So when geese migrate, they go to the same place year after year. So old Henry and now Tim go from Big Trout Lake in Canada down to Crooked Lake in Florida, back to Big Trout Lake in Canada, down to Crooked Lake in Florida, and they just kind of keep going that same route every year. All right. Maybe you can think about, do you have a place that you go to every year? You know, some students have a little summer trip that they do every year. You know, my family, we like to take a road trip to visit family in Vancouver every year, and it's kind of fun to do that each year. And it's a little different and a little bit the same. Alrighty, so what's next? You're going to reread the story on your own. You're going to answer the questions at the end of the story. Remember, you don't need to write those down, but you do need to know the answers. So you're going to read over the questions, and you're going to check your work looking at the little answer key down below in the assignment. You're going to complete your workbook. You're going to submit your photos, and then read for 20 more minutes. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.